Hello and welcome to this Getting Started with Microsoft Teams and Office 365 Groups Administration course. My name is Vlad Katrinescu and I will be your instructor for this course. In this module, we will do an introduction to the Office 365 Groups and Microsoft Teams Administration Toolbox. We will first start by doing an introduction to Office 365 Group Administration and really cover what does a group's admin do and what permissions or roles do we need in order to be able to administer Office 365 groups. We will then go look at the role of a Teams admin and what a Teams admin does and which admin roles does a team admin need. After that, we will look at the tools to administer all of those, starting by the user interface options with the admin centers, followed by the different PowerShell modules which we will need as an administrator. We'll learn how to get those and how to connect to different Office 365 services by using PowerShell. By the end of this module, you will know the different responsibilities of an Office 365 Groups and Teams administrator, as well as how to install and connect to all of the different tools that you will need for this course, and of course, your job as a Teams or Office 365 Groups administrator. Let's start by doing an introduction to Office 365 Groups administration. First things first, Office 365 Groups Administration is a partnership. It's really not something you can get out there and do alone without collaborating with anyone else, because Office 365 Groups has a lot of services in the Office 365 stack, and enterprises usually have one or many administrators for different services. Larger organizations usually have dedicated SharePoint admins, Teams admins, Exchange admins, Azure Active Directory admins, and so on. In all honesty, while the Office 365 Groups Administrator role is a real role somebody needs to have in the organization, it's rarely a dedicated person that does just that. Most often, it's just added on top of one or more application or Azure AD admin role. Because it's not a dedicated role, it doesn't mean that it's not important. It's a very important role, and somebody absolutely needs to assume it inside of the organization. Now let's talk about the responsibilities of an Office 365 Groups administrator. The group's admin are responsible of all of the high-level tenant settings for Office 365 groups, including create, read, update, delete, and restore operations, as well as maintenance and configuration of tenant-wide settings such as naming conventions, external sharing for Office 365 groups, expiration policies, access reviews, and so on. The Office 365 Groups admin is also responsible for working with the security and application administrators to ensure settings are in sync across the tenant and also with their requirements as applications and security admins. As for the requirements, the minimum role you need is to be a Groups administrator role in Office 365 or of course a global admin. What does a group's administrative role do? Users in this role can create and manage groups and their settings like naming and expiration policies. It's important to understand that assigning a user this role gives them the ability to manage all groups in the tenant across various workloads like Teams, SharePoint, Yammer, in addition to Outlook. Now this is the definition from Microsoft, but it might be a bit confusing or a bit too large versus what that role actually gives you. So let's go back to the diagram that we showed you in the previous module. This diagram shows where you can manage different applications, part of the Office 365 groups. The identity part and Office 365 group settings are managed in Azure Active Directory, while the rest of applications mostly have their own specialized admin centers. The group's administrator role gives you access to the tenant-wide settings and membership in Azure Active Directory, but it does not give you access to any of the application admin centers. Those are only granted access by the specialized admin roles such as SharePoint Administrator, Teams Administrator, Exchange Administrator, and so on. The group's admin role only gives you access to group management and setting management for groups at the Azure Active Directory level. Now, an additional requirement, which is not mandatory, is having the Exchange Online admin role. Again, this is optional but recommended because there are quite a few PowerShell commandlets to control Office 365 groups that are only available in the Exchange Online PowerShell module, and this is really not for administering through the user interface, but for the PowerShell and automation commandlets. So what are the tools that we will use to administer Office 365 groups? At a high level, we have the Azure Active Directory Admin Center and the Microsoft 365 Admin Center as well as PowerShell. It's really important for you to know that it's not one or the other, it's really both of them together. And as an Office 365 group administrator, there are some things that can be done very easily in the Admin Center, while there are some things that can only be done via PowerShell. So we'll go deeper into both of those in this module, but really important to know it's not one or the other. You really need to know both user interface or admin center options as well as PowerShell management tools to be able to manage Office 365 groups efficiently. Now that we have talked about Office 365 groups, let's talk about Microsoft Teams administration. In short, the Microsoft Teams admin is responsible for all of the aspects of the Microsoft Teams service, from maintenance and configuration to making sure that users are using it correctly and are aware of upcoming changes. With the cloud and changes coming in weekly, the Teams administrator must also make sure those are communicated to users so change management is always part of the job. The team's admin is also responsible for the governance around the team service, so making sure there is no sprawl of teams and that everybody uses Teams as the company intends users to do it, and of course, managing security and external sharing. If your organization uses voice over IP Teams, the Teams admin can also be responsible for voice, telephony, and of course the quality of the meetings, making sure the network is optimized, and so on. Depending on how large the company is, the Teams admin might also help with the Teams client deployment, but usually that is done by the system administration team. As for the requirements, the minimum role you need is one of the four Microsoft Teams administrator roles in Office 365. Unlike some of the other applications in the suite, Microsoft Teams has more granular permissions that you can assign, so let's take a look at them. The first, and I mean the top one, is the Microsoft Teams Service Administrator, which gives you full control on the Microsoft Teams service. Next up is the Teams Communications Administrator, which allows you to manage calling and meeting features within the Teams service. We then have a role called Teams Communication Support Specialist, which allows you to troubleshoot communication issues with Teams by using basic tools. And finally, the Teams Communication Support Engineer, which is almost the same thing, but gives you access to more tools for that purpose. So what are the tools that we'll use to administer Microsoft Teams? At a high level, we have the Microsoft Teams Admin Center as well as PowerShell. Again, it's really important for you to know that it's not one or the other, it's really both of them together. And as a Teams admin, you have to know both of those administration tools in order to manage Teams effectively. Now that we have seen the theory, let's go to the lab and see how we can assign the different admin roles to users. We are now in the lab environment, and I have already logged in the Microsoft 365 Admin Center, and I'm on the Active Users page. For this demo, let's give the different admin permissions to Ben King, which is currently just a user. So let me click on Ben King here, let's just click on the name, and we'll have all of the options pop in from the right. Right now you can see under the roles category, there is no administrator access. So let's go into manage roles, and then we're going to select admin center access. If we look at the first options that were given, we see the Exchange admin, SharePoint admin, Teams service admin, and so on, but not all of the options because they are given under Show All by category. So let me click on this title, which will show me all of the options, and now we can scroll down. Let me scroll to the whole collaboration category. First of all, under collaboration over here, the third one right now is Groups Administrator. So this is if you want to allow somebody to manage Office 365 groups in Azure AD that we have talked about earlier, this is the role you need to give them. As for the Teams administration roles, we're going to scroll all the way to the bottom of the collaboration category, and here I have all of the options for team collaboration. I have my Teams service admin, which is my general Teams admin that has access to everything, and then the other three, which are the Teams communication admin, Teams communication support engineer, and Teams communication support specialist. Let's give Team Service Admin to Ben and click on Save Changes, and that is it. We have given the necessary admin roles to Ben King in order to manage Office 365 groups as well as Microsoft Teams. Now that we have seen how to give the necessary roles, let's go back to the slides and learn about the different tools such as admin centers and PowerShell modules that we can use to manage those services. Now that we know the responsibilities of both Office 365 groups and Teams administrators, let's start looking at the tools starting with the admin centers. The first one is the Microsoft 365 Admin Center, which is a web-based interface that you can find at admin.microsoft.com, and it's really the entry point to all Microsoft 365 administration tasks as well as a quick access to all of the other specialized admin centers. It provides general information for all admins such as service help and the message center, and it also allows you to manage Office 365 users and licenses. Even if this information is stored in Azure AD, the Microsoft 365 Admin Center provides a more user-friendly way of doing the basic tasks on user and licenses. The Microsoft 365 Admin Center provides a more user-friendly way of doing basic tasks on users and licenses. From a group management perspective, which I include both security groups and Office 365 groups, the Microsoft 365 Admin Center, you have a limited number of things you can do, most of it being membership changes, as well as some group-specific settings, and of course, create, read, update, and delete operations. Next up is the Azure Active Directory Admin Center or portal, which again is a web-based portal, and you can access it at portal.azure.com. This URL is the center for everything Azure, so really over 100 services, but you should easily be able to find the icon to to Azure Active Directory, which will bring you to Azure AD. The Azure Active Directory portal allows you to administer everything around Azure AD, but what you can do inside will really depend on the permissions that you have. There are 4 or 5 different roles that gives you access to the Azure AD portal with limited permissions, so it's really good at enforcing a role-based access control. And you can also manage groups from here, so security groups and Office 365 groups. For Office 365 group specific, here is where you will spend your time for anything remotely advanced that you need to configure that applies for all of the Office 365 groups in the tenant. Next up, the Microsoft Teams Admin Center, which is again a web-based interface and allows you to manage Microsoft Teams, and you can get to it by simply going to admin.teams.microsoft.com or click on the Teams Admin Center in the Microsoft 365 Admin Center. From the Teams Admin Center, you can control all of the settings related to the key service, such as managing Teams under settings, managing policies, doing analytics and reports, managing voice settings, and really all of the other settings that we will look at later in this course. Now that we have seen what each admin center does, let's go and take a quick look at the Microsoft 365 Admin Center, the Azure Active Directory Admin Center, and the Microsoft Teams Admin Center in the live environment. We are now in the demo environment, so let me open up here portal.office.com, where I have simply logged in with my Office 365 username and password. The first Admin Center we're going to look at is the Microsoft 365 Admin Center, and you can easily get to it by simply clicking on the admin icon, and as soon as you have any admin role, you will be able to see it. It will bring you to the link admin.microsoft.com, so if you want to access it directly, you can simply bookmark that link from now on. And in order to see all of Office 365 groups, you can go into the Groups category, and we will go into Groups over here. From the Microsoft 365 Admin Center, you can manage all of the different types of groups, so distribution groups, security groups, and Office 365 groups. But if you want to see only the Office 365 ones, you can simply go into Filter here, pick Office 365, and then we will see all of the Office 365 groups in our environment. This is how you can get to groups management in the Microsoft 365 Admin Center, and of course that throughout this course, we're going to learn all of the different actions that you can do from this Admin Center, but now let's go to the other ones. In order to go to the other Admin Centers, I will go into Admin Centers here on the bottom left, and I will simply click on All Admin Centers. Once I do that, it will bring me to the All Admin Center page, and here I will see all of the different admin centers that I can have access to depending on my roles. So you can see in this account, I'm a global admin, so I have a ton of choices. If I go and log in as Ben King, that we have given permissions to earlier, you see a lot less choices. I actually only have the Teams Admin Center that is available to me on this page. So let's go back to Global Admin, and let me start with the Azure Active Directory Admin Center. Because I'm a global admin, I actually have it as an option, but for Azure Active Directory, even if you don't see it here, because the groups admin doesn't show it to you over here, you still have access to it. So even if it was not shown for Ben King would still have access to the Azure Active Directory Admin Center. It's simply not shown on the page, so you just have to go to it directly by using the URL. Now let me go back to live here. I will go under Azure Active Directory, And again, if I want to see all of my Office 365 groups, I can simply go into the groups category here, where I will see all of the groups inside the organization, including Office 365, security, distribution group, and so on. But if I want to only show Office 365 groups, I will add a filter on group type. Let me click on apply, and then I will pick Office, and that's it. And now it will only show me the Office 365 groups. Again, right now I just want to do a quick overview of the admin centers, and we will learn how to manage groups throughout the course. Lastly, let's go to the Teams Admin Center. So let me get back here to the whole Admin Center page. Let me click on Teams, which will bring me to admin.teams.microsoft.com. And from here, I really have access to manage the full team service. So I can view all of the different teams that I have in the organization. I can manage all of the different policies, application, organization-wide settings, and so on. Again, I just wanted to do a quick overview on how to get the Teams Admin Center, and throughout the course, we'll learn how and where to manage all of the different settings from Microsoft Teams. This is it for the overview of the three admin centers, how to get to the groups or teams management pages, and really show you that for the groups admin, even if you don't see Azure Active Directory inside the whole admin center page, that's normal. You simply have to access it via the URL. Now let's go back in the slides and learn what are the different PowerShell modules that we can use to manage Office 365 groups and Microsoft Teams. We have now viewed the admin centers, so now let's talk about the different PowerShell modules. We are really going to cover three PowerShell modules in this module: the Azure Active Directory PowerShell module, the Microsoft Teams PowerShell module, and lastly, the Exchange Online PowerShell module. How do we get those modules? Most of the modules for Office 365 are hosted on the PowerShell Gallery. The PowerShell Gallery is the central repository for PowerShell content from Microsoft, and in order to download modules from the PowerShell Gallery, you need to have PowerShell Get. You might already have PowerShell Get installed on your computer, depending on what operating system or PowerShell version you have. PowerShell Get is included automatically if you're using Windows 10 or later, Windows Server 2016 or later, if you have installed the Windows Management Framework 5.0 or later, or if you have PowerShell version 6 or later. If you do not have those operating systems, don't worry, you can download the package management MSI, which installs PowerShell Get at the link in the slide. Now that we know about the PowerShell Gallery and prerequisites, let's start by looking at the Azure Active Directory PowerShell module. After you have PowerShell Get, installing the Azure AD module is super easy. You simply need to open up PowerShell as an administrator, of course, and then run the install module commandlet and specify the name of the commandlet, which is Azure AD. Now that we have the module installed, we need to connect to Azure Active Directory. You of course need to have your username and password, as well as any role that gives Azure AD administrative permissions. PowerShell will respect the role-based access control permissions, meaning that even if you see all of the commandlets available, you can only do what your role allows you to do. Now to connect to Azure Active Directory without multi-factor authentication, you first need to run a get credential commandlet and save the credential in a variable called cred, and afterwards we'll run the connect Azure AD commandlet and specify the credential parameter and the credential we just saved. If you have multi-factor authentication enabled, the procedure is just a little bit different because with MFA, we cannot save the credential only run the connect Azure ID. We can specify the email address or the username in the account ID parameter, and this will open up a pop-up asking us for our password and the second method of authentication. Before continuing on to the next modules, I just want to talk about the fact that there's actually two different modules for Azure AD. The first one, which we just talked about, which is called the Azure AD PowerShell module, is really the stable production release of that PowerShell module. The second one is called the Azure AD PowerShell Module Public Preview, and it includes the latest features that are not yet in the production release. So they get in that module sometimes quite a few months before, but they're not as well documented and might change before going into the production release. In order to install it, same exact procedure, same exact way of connecting as well, but when you install it, you just need to run the install module, PowerShell commandlet, and in the name you give it Azure AD Preview. Make sure you uninstall the production version of the Azure AD module if you're going to install the preview version, as there's only one of them that can be installed on a machine at the same time. Now that we have seen the theory, let's go to the lab and see how it looks in real life when we install the Azure AD PowerShell module and connect to Azure Active Directory by using PowerShell. We are now in the lab environment, and inside the browser here, I have already navigated to the PowerShell Gallery, so let's search for Azure AD. And as we have talked in the slides, it will really give me two options. First of all, Azure AD, which is the general availability module, and then Azure AD Preview, which is the preview module. If we scroll down a bit, first of all, the PowerShell Gallery already gives us the commandlet if we just want to copy and paste it. In order to install Azure AD, we can also look at the version history, which is what is the current version, when is the last time that it got updated, and so on. And if I look into package details, I will see all of the different commandlets that are part of this module. But now let's go into PowerShell and install it. I have already opened up the PowerShell ISV over here with the two different install module options, but remember, you can only install one of them. So you either install Azure AD or Azure AD Preview. You cannot have both of them at the same time. So let me install Azure AD Preview. So let's run this commandlet. It will ask me if I trust the repository, so if I trust the PowerShell Gallery, in which I will say yes to all. If you're running this in a normal PowerShell window, it will simply ask you in line, whereas with the PowerShell ISC it just does it as a pop-up, and we can see that it got completed. Awesome. Now it's time to connect. Let me first of all run here the get credential. So I will run the get credential, which will open up a pop-up asking me for my username and password. I call this a dumb pop-up because it does not actually validate anything. It simply takes your username and password and saves it in a PowerShell credential object. So let me interrupt here one at globalmatics.org and let me try to get in the right password, say OK, and now to know if I actually entered the right password, we will know when I do connect Azure AD and give it the credential that I just entered. If you see red text, that probably means that you mis-entered your password or you don't have access, you don't have an admin role. If everything goes on smoothly, you will see some information about your tenant. First of all, the account you're logging in with, the environment, the tenant ID, the domain, and the account type. From now on that I am connected, I can do things such as, for example, get Azure AD group where I will see all of the different groups inside of their tenant. This is it for this demo. We have seen how to install the Azure AD PowerShell module, as well as how to connect to Azure Active Directory by using PowerShell. Now let's go back to the slides and see how we can do the same thing with the Microsoft Teams PowerShell module. Next up, let's talk about the Microsoft Teams PowerShell module. This one is also on the PowerShell Gallery, and to install the module, we need to run the install-module commandlet and specify the name of the module, in this case, Microsoft Teams, and that's about it. Now that we have the module, we need to connect to Microsoft Teams. You of course need your username and password, as well as any of the 4 roles that give you admin to Microsoft Teams, as we have seen before, and you will of course only be able to do actions that your role allows you to do. To connect to Microsoft Teams without multi-factor authentication, we need to get our credentials using the get credential commandlet, and then run the connect Microsoft Teams commandlet, and then specify the credential. If you're using multi-factor authentication, you need to run the same connect Microsoft Teams commandlet, but specify the account ID parameter. This will open up a window where you can finish your authentication to Microsoft Teams with multi-factor authentication. Now that we know the theory, let's go to the lab and see how to get the Microsoft Teams PowerShell module and connect to Microsoft Teams. We are now in the lab environment, and I have again opened up the PowerShell Gallery over here, and I will search for Microsoft Teams. You see, I actually have 2 options which look pretty similar, but it's important to remember that the PowerShell Gallery is a central repository for both Microsoft as well as community modules. So the first one here, the Microsoft Teams, is the official one, whereas the second one, the PS Teams, even if it has the same logo, you can see that it was actually done by a community member. And there is nothing wrong with that, so don't get me wrong, but just make sure that you always double check which one you're getting, because sometimes the logos can be misleading. So I'll go to Microsoft Teams here. Again, we can see the different options. What is the current version? As you can see, version 1, so the first preview version of Microsoft Teams, was only released in April 2019. And right now, at the time of recording this course, we're only at version 1.03. So it's still a fairly new module. But now let's go and install it. I have the PowerShell ISU open here again as an administrator, so I will run the install module named Microsoft Teams. It will ask me again if I want to trust the repository, so I'll just say yes to all. It will take about 30 seconds for everything to run, and as you can see, it actually took less than 10 seconds and it got completed. Now in order to connect, I simply run the connect Microsoft Teams PowerShell module and give it the credential. I did not close the ISU window from recording the connecting to Azure AD PowerShell, so my credential variable is still there. So I'm not going to run the get credential again. Instead, let me run directly the connect Microsoft Teams, give it the credential, and similar to Azure Active Directory, if you get information about your tenant, those are good news. If you see red, it means that you did something wrong, either that your username and password combination is incorrect, or you do not have an admin role that gives you access to Microsoft Teams. Let's run a commandlet to test it out, so let me run get team over here, and let me press on enter, and this will show me all of the different teams inside the tenant. This is it for this demo, in which we have seen how to install the Teams PowerShell module, as well as connect to Microsoft Teams. Next up, let's go back to the slides and learn how to connect to Exchange Online by using PowerShell. Finally, let's talk about the last but not least, the Exchange Online PowerShell module. Exchange Online PowerShell is actually going through a bit of a transformation from V1 to V2 as I'm recording this course in early 2020. So I'll show you both V1, what is available today, as well as V2, where the Exchange thing is going, and maybe as you watch this course, the new version will be shipped, and you can just use that one. Back to our topic today, there are two different ways to connect to Exchange Online, depending if you have multiple factor authentication or not. Without multi-factor authentication enabled, you don't need a module. You simply connect to a remote PowerShell session, and they will download a temporary module for that session. With multi-factor authentication enabled, you actually need to download a module from the Exchange Online Admin Center before being able to connect. The new version of Exchange Online PowerShell, called Exchange Online PowerShell V2, is simply a module on the PowerShell Gallery as we have seen before. So whether you use or not MFA, there's only one module for both of them, and it also includes quite a few performance improvements over V1, so that will make the experience a lot simpler. Now, whatever module you use, with or without MFA, you need to be an Exchange Online admin to be able to connect to Exchange Online. Since connecting with the V1 Exchange PowerShell module and the V2 are different, let's start with the current version that's production today. So let's start with Exchange Online PowerShell V1. So first of all, the remote PowerShell session, so without multi-factor authentication enabled. First, we'll get the credentials and save them in the cred variable as we have seen before, and then establish the connection. So we'll run the new PS session command giving it the configuration name, connection URL, credential, authentication, and specifying the allowed redirection. The connection URL is always outlook.office365.com/PowerShell.liveID, except in two small exceptions about which we'll talk in just a few seconds, but at the end we'll run the import PS session and the session variable we had. This will download the temporary module and we can start using Exchange Online PowerShell. The exceptions for the connection URI parameter is if you're an Office 365 tenant operated by 21 VMnet in China, you would use the connection URI specified in the slides, and if you're an Office 365 Germany, the connection URI is also different. What about multi-factor authentication? Well, Exchange Online, like I mentioned before, has quite some different steps if you're using MFA. First of all, you need to download a module from the Exchange Online Admin Center in order to connect to multi-factor authentication, and it's located under the Hybrid tab of the Exchange Online Admin Center. Also, very importantly, you need to use the good old Internet Explorer to download it, or else it will not work and you'll get a beautiful error as you can see in the slides. In order to connect with this module, we actually use a different command list than without MFA. We're using the connect EXOPS session and pass the user principal name. This will open up a pop-up in which we can enter the rest of our authentication information, such as the password and the second authentication method. If you're connecting to Office 365 Germany with multi-factor authentication, you will also need to specify the connection URI as well as the Azure AD authorization endpoint URI parameters for it to work. the lab environment and connect to Exchange Online with and without multi-factor authentication enabled. We are now in the lab environment, and let's start first without multi-factor authentication enabled. As we have seen in the slides, if we connect without multi-factor authentication, we do not actually need to pre-download the module. The way that it works, it actually opens a remote PowerShell session, and as we connect to that session, it will download a temporary module that includes all of the different commandlets that we need, and it's always up to date. Again, for this demo, I don't need to get the credential as I haven't closed the PowerShell ISC, so we still have it in the cred variable. And let me run the new PS session command here. It will take about 10-15 seconds to run, and it's already finished. And now it hasn't done much yet. It's only as we actually work the remote PS session that we're going to see how it downloads the temporary module, including all of the commandlets we need. As it actually downloads it, we're going to get a warning here that I want to show you because it's nothing to worry about. It just tells us that some of the commandlets in the Exchange Online PowerShell module do not respect the usual PowerShell naming conventions, so they might be a lot harder to find. But that's the only thing it tells us. If we actually try to do, let's say for example, a get mailbox, and we click enter, it will show me all of the different mailboxes inside the environment. So this was easy without multi-factor authentication. Now what if our admin account has MFA enabled? I will minimize this and let me go to the Microsoft 365 Admin Center using Internet Explorer, and I'm back on the All Admin Centers page, and I will click on Exchange Online. Of course, you need to be either a global administrator or Exchange Online administrator to have access to this page. And after that, we will go on the bottom on the hybrid category, where we'll see two options. Either to set up an Exchange hybrid deployment, which we're not going to touch at all, and the second one, the Exchange Online PowerShell module, which is what we need. So let's click on the configure button. It will download an application, so I'll click uninstall. It will take about 30 seconds, and this is it. As you can see, even if the Exchange Online v2 PowerShell module is only in preview, we already got some messaging added up by Microsoft that advises us to go and try it out. Like I said a bit earlier in the slides, that experience is still in preview, so that is why I'm showing you both options in this course. So we connect EXO PS session, give it the user principal name, and let me do another account here, vladadmin@globalmantics.org, because if not, if I just do the vlad@globalmantics.org, it will already automatically see that I have a session open and take over data. Now the Vlad admin account does not have the MFA enabled either, but the experience you get will really depend on your organization. But what basically happens is it opens this pop-up where you would enter your password, and then after that, depending on your organizational settings, you would have to enter that second method of authentication, which might be a security key, a validation and authenticator, or simply a code sent to you as a text message. But really, it would be the same experience as logging in on the browser. You would just see it here as a pop-up in PowerShell, so that's why I'm not doing the full demo. This is it for this demo, in which we have seen how to open up a remote PowerShell session and connecting to Exchange Online without multi-factor authentication enabled, as well as how to go to the Exchange Online Admin Center, download the PowerShell module needed for MFA, and start the connection to Exchange Online with multi-factor authentication enabled. Now that we have seen this, let's go back to the slides and take a look at this Exchange PowerShell v2 PowerShell module and see how it will make our lives easier, especially with MFA in the future. Now that we have seen what is available in V1, let's take a look at what's coming with the Exchange Online PowerShell V2 module. At the time of recording this course in early 2020, this is in preview mode, but if it goes into production and stable when you listen to this course, this is the PowerShell module that I would recommend you to use. To install the module, we need to run the install module PowerShell commandlet and specify the name of the module, which is Exchange Online Management, and that's it. To connect to Exchange Online without multi-factor authentication, we need to get our credentials using the get credential commandlet and then run the connect Exchange Online PowerShell commandlet and specify the credential. If you're using multi-factor authentication, you need to run the same connect exchange online commandlet, but specify the user principal name in which you give your username, and this will open up a new window where you can finish the authentication to Exchange Online with your password and second method of authentication. Now that we have seen the theory, let's go to the lab and look at Exchange Online V2 PowerShell module, how to install it, and how to connect Exchange Online with it. We are now in the lab environment, so let me open up the browser here, where I'm back again on the PowerShell Gallery. I will search for Exchange Online, so it should be one of the first options, and you see we have Exchange Online Management. Right now, it still says at the top, this is a public preview release of Exchange Online PowerShell V2 module. And if you look at the versions, you can see that they are updating it quite often, 3 months ago, 2 months ago, to updates last month, and the current version is only 14 days old. So I will install it. Let's go to the PowerShell ISC here, and we will run install module name Exchange Online Management. It will ask me again, because it's from the PowerShell Gallery, it will ask if I trust this repository or not, so I will say yes to all, and it's already done. I kept my credential variable, so if I go on cred over here, it's still valid, so I don't need to run the get credential again, and then I will do connect Exchange Online and give it the credential. It will take 30 seconds to actually get all of the different things that are needed, and then we are ready to go. One of the advantages of this module is whether you will be using simple authentication or multi-factor authentication, you're going to have a very similar way to actually install the module and connect to Exchange Online. And another benefit, which today at least it doesn't touch us with group management, but Microsoft is working on making a lot of the commandlets a lot faster. And this is the warning that I get in yellow as I connect that some of the faster commandlets, so for example, instead of get mailbox, I can do get EXO mailbox, which will give the information from Exchange Online a lot faster. Right now, at the time of recording this course in February 2020, all of the Office 365 groups commandlets are the same, so there's no benefits there. But in the future, they might actually revamp some of those commandlets to give them more performance as well. As this module goes into general availability, and that will be pretty easy to know, is once it actually hits version 1.0, I will actually recommend that you go and use this module instead of the V1, so go all in with V2 once it reaches general availability or version 1 in the version history. This is it for this PowerShell module. In this demo, we have really seen how to get the Exchange Online V2 PowerShell module and how to connect to Exchange Online using this public preview version currently of the V2 PowerShell module for Exchange Online. This wraps up all of the different admin centers and PowerShell commandlets that we will use throughout the course. Now let's go back to the slides and finish off this module. before finishing up this module, let's review what we have learned. We have first looked at the role of an Office 365 group administrator and its responsibilities, which are mainly focused around the tenant-wide Office 365 groups settings. In order to do this role, you need to have the Office 365 Groups Administrator role in Office 365 and optionally but highly recommended Exchange Online Administrator as well for a bunch of the PowerShell commandlets that only live inside Exchange Online PowerShell. We have then looked at what a Teams administrator does, and the Teams administrator is responsible for all of the parts of the Teams service, from configuration and maintenance to security, governance, and user adoption. Microsoft Teams has 4 different admin roles that you can assign administrators depending on what part of Teams you want them to manage. We have then looked at our administration toolbox, starting with the different admin centers. We have looked at the Microsoft 365 Admin Center, the Azure Active Directory Admin Center, as well as the Teams Admin Center. We have also looked at the PowerShell modules that you need as an administrator, starting with Azure Active Directory, then looking at Microsoft Teams, and finally Exchange Online, in which we have looked at the current Exchange Online version, which is V1, and Exchange Online V2, which is in preview at the time of recording this course. However, it might be the production-ready release by the time that you listen to this course. This is it for the introduction to our Toolbox module, in which we have learned what are the different tools that we need to manage Microsoft Teams and Office 365 groups. In the next modules, we'll learn how to manage the different aspects of both Microsoft Teams and Office 365 groups, starting with the basics of groups administration. Thank you very much for listening, and I hope you found it informative.